have this amazing thing that we want to share with you. And this thing is called Letters from the Future Part 2, or When There Were Cages.
We get these letters from the future. We don't know how. We don't know where they're from, how they came to us. All we know is they're carbon dated in the future. We don't know what they mean. We're interpreting them the best they can, but they contradict each other. And then the people investigating them contradict each other. Two of us look at them, we see entirely different things. Even if we drew a picture, entirely different things. So these would be our best guesses as to what these letters from the future might mean. Our best guess is they're from future archaeologists who are looking back on the shards and artifacts of us and trying to figure out what we did or do. And they also seem interested in why we did or do what we did or do. Exactly. So they're sometimes a little puzzled by us. You'll see that, and they have different ideas. You piece it together. We're doing our best. Give us a break, okay? This particular batch of letters has led us to this particular spot. They seem particularly intrigued and puzzled by a special habit of ours, and we have some evidence that this batch of letters from the future are partially instructions for a gathering in the future. And so we're going to ask your help in reenacting some of the things that they would do in this gathering. We're going to read some excerpts from the letters. We're going to interpret them in different ways. Now, this is going to be one way to interpret some letters from the future. Yes, please. Now, on the end, this phrase, now long ago, seems to be a kind of an invocation. It goes with a lot of things. But here we have, actually, you can read this one with me. Everybody. Child, cage, group, broken. Okay, so child cage, that is what has led us to meet here at the youth prison, what is charmingly called the Youth Services Center. And then group, broken. Now this word group apparently can mean family. It can also mean community. It can also mean broken nation or society or broken civilization, apparently. So we think. So this is what has led us to think that they are particularly exploring why we did this child cage thing back in our primitive, barbaric 21st century. Okay. The next one, everybody. Cage, palace, atrocity, toxin. That word palace can also mean monument or cathedral. To people in the future, they seem to think that we created cathedrals and monuments out of cages for ourselves. So to them, they called them cage palaces. Atrocity toxin. Many of you already know this, but this youth prison was built on what formerly had a dry cleaning place here. So there's dry cleaning fluid in the ground. There's actual physical toxins in this present place in the ground that they're making the youth spend 24 hours a day over. But as near as we can tell, in the future, they also seem to believe, will believe, that the act of incarcerating them created toxins in itself. And in the future, apparently, those toxins are still present. And so they call them atrocity toxins. So this next one, everybody, tree, expand, mend, make new. This word expand, like the English word, can also mean to mushroom. We're trying to translate and piece this together. As near as we can tell, in the future, they have bred a kind of cross between a tree and a mushroom that will suck toxins up out of the ground and neutralize them. And so we're inferring that in the future, this place is gone, but what's there instead is a forest or an orchard of healing trees. And they will meet in the future to remember what used to be here and to interact with the plants that are healing the toxins that we created and left for them in the future. And so the trees will mend and make new, bring life to where there was not life. So that's why we're going to walk around the block here and encounter some stuff, and we'll read some excerpts and do some other things. Again, they're far in the future, so they know lots of stuff we don't, but they're way far in the future, apparently, because we know some stuff that they don't. So we're going to supplement with some things from the present here today to try to understand their understanding of us and what they thought of what we did. And so we're going to walk around the block and we're going to end up right back here. All right, so here, for example, is a letter from the future. It says, translating this into kind of more ordinary language, to be chosen for the cage, a human was given a special label. Bad. Let's all say that together. Bad. Yeah, very good. Very good. The purpose of the cage was to keep them bad. The label could be applied for many reasons. For example, back in the 21st century, everything in the world was what they called owned. Let's say that. Owned. Ooh, that was good. Again. Owned. Good, good, good. Those who owned nothing could be labeled bad. Yes, exactly. They worshipped competition, winning and losing. So those who owned nothing, those who lost could be labeled bad. Yes. If, on the other hand, you were one of those who possessed a very large amount of the invisible currency which operated their world, or if your skin color was what they called white, exactly, then you might be able to perform harmful acts without being labeled bad at all and without ending up in their palace of cages. This label could be randomly applied to a human even before you were born.
All right, let's read together, starting from step one. Ready?
Step 1. Actual local high school department head to incoming teacher. You have to get those kids out of your classroom. Keep good attendance records. When they're tardy
enough times, you can get them out of your class. Then the administration has ways to get them out of the school.
music, make them sign a gang contract, and name names and promise to avoid their friends.
From our good friend Kiana, and we did some work to translate this particular letter from the future. %. 40% of the special ed students are black and brown boys. 1.4 times. Black boys are 1.4 times more likely to be in special needs classes than any other race or ethnicity. What is an atrium? One of the questions asked as an assessment tool for special needs students. Thank you. Locked Up by Rawa Abraham. Dark cell, wall covered, gang signs everywhere. Free her, free him, all over the walls. But nobody really knows I'm here. Woke up at 8, locked up. Get ready in your cell, that's fucked up. Hurry up and line up, hands behind your back. I'm sad for thinking my own family really had my back. Walk in a straight line, no looking back. One security walking us. I thought kindergarten was way back. Straight to school, not really school. I'm in a basement, but it's all cool. 5 classes, kind of like real school, but how would you feel showing up in a blue on blue jumpsuit? Yeah, we get time between classes, but we're just back to the cages and what they expect us to do, some gymnastics? Back to class, here we go again, back to the line, and no, I don't need you to hold my hand. Sorry, security, please don't write me up. I'm not trying to have the judge see it and expect to extend the clock. I've already done enough. Wait. Excuse my words, I meant accused enough, but it's still all absurd. They say I don't eat much, but they got it all wrong. I eat all right. I'm just picky, and that's real talk. Knowing that, you think I'ma eat your shit? I know it's juvie, but you can't just serve me spit. Juvie, juvie, juvie. It's a bad hideaway. They think it works for the bad groupies. But trust me, you don't know me. And when you work for me later on, you gon' plead you're guilty. I'm not accused, I am accusations. I am not a suspect, I just say I do things. I am not a delinquent, I am delinquency. The whole court system stays having their eyes on me. I'm not irritated, I am irritation. Don't say my name if you're just trying to disturb my patience. Attitude is a big setback. I'm bothering you? Oops, I don't give 2 fucks. I don't start fires, I am a fighter. I fight for my rights. I fight with or without others by my side. I fight the rules they give me. But then I'm wanted. See why I'm angry? What happened to it's a free world? Say it all, but the heroes get offended and now you're a know-it-all. All I'm trying to say is the system's fucked up. But let me say no more because I get my ass locked up.
Yo, from a city of protest and upset, needles of heroin and failed drug tests, skyscrapers reaching the clouds of weed smoke, Sleepless hustle, man, that's why we stay woke. Back when blue scholars had a city wildin', young cats at corners freestyling. We had ghetto children that needed vitamin D. Libraries needed to kill off the dying breed. We be on that fuck shit. Education's low funded, we can't function. Ideologies is fucking up our democracy, filled with hypocrisy. Honestly, Nikita Oliver gotta run for mayor, much like Word Sayer, to represent the youth, represent the whole culture. Space Needle posters filled the room, and yo, I gotta kiss the city soon. Cardboard B-boys in the stance. MC's moving the crowd, yo, we lost in the trance. Up in the projects, we bumping boom bap. How we get caught up in the drug war? We don't even do that. Why so many homeless? If Seattle's their home, I feel that pain deep inside my bones.
Look, how we survive in this world full of hatred, greed, and infamy. I must be a cement product because these streets was meant for me. See that person on the curb, pants sagging, with a bandana, and that fiend on the corner, blazing cream out the antenna, with that car across the street is raggedy sitting on D's. And they just gave the smoke signal. They wanted to purchase some weed. I'm keeping eyes in the back of my head because there's so much action and they just shook hands. But I think it's a transaction. Crackheads moving. They feed their babies breakfast and lunches. They skip dinner just so mama could go purchase some substance. Abuse the kids, bruise the kids. With cords and hangers in, you wonder why we slaying the drugs and gangbangers. Have you ever seen the patient take a hit of that pipe, blow out the cream when his head burst and coffee was light? Am I to blame for my fallen, crumble, shattered society? I need money and some power, and the streets ain't denying it.
We have one more track, and yeah. Why are brothers in the streets? This is not peace. Why are we in prison? We need education mixed with opportunity. My hands are up, yo, but they're still shooting me. My parents used to say, in America, I'm being blessed, but I was baptized by oil and tears of the oppressed. Yes, rest in peace, Charlene Laws. News manipulates, making us misinformed and discriminate. We need a new society, one that doesn't lie to me, where I have a voice. Hey yo, you get the point. Won't let tyranny get rid of me, because all I gotta say is FDT.
Father always told me, son, keep your feet firm. And when you start making money, that's the stuff that you had earned. And that always stayed with me, like a permanent burn. Dad always coached his warrior, thought he was Steve Kerr. Always giving females knowledge, yes, I had to teach her. Always talking about my God, but I ain't no preacher. Bros just always getting used to put me in the sleeper. Let me tell you about my life, I'll go a little deeper. I done did a lot of things, I hope God forgive me. Felt like karma kept on coming, I got it on repeat. I never given up on life, I won't take no defeat. And true to the one was respect, yes. The other ones will speak for me.
Yes, I'm triggered. I'll blast off, catch you with the mask off. Talk about unity, you and me, gotta represent. Do more than a middle finger to the president. We gotta stop the violence, and gotta stop the riots, and talk about alliance amongst each other. Don't be envious, it only bring you under. Why wonder when change will happen? Started with passion and get it active. Maybe you'll change more. Tired seeing street wars, tired seeing mothers cry. Wanna see brothers fly and have hope, and talk about being dope, and have inspiration of just living life. Cause you never know what just might stop you from seeing tomorrow. These are from ourselves, love to the people. I see no color, yo. We all equal. It's all love.
My life story is not funny. Why don't y'all just listen? Mom and dad can get us nothing on them days of Christmas. Man, now my fam got some money on the wish list, and Santa can answer back another year without that gift. So I'm going hard with this music until I get rich and try to make it out of the struggle and make a difference. Watch for your surroundings and watch whoever you call friends. Anybody can turn into snakes. Watch them slithering. Remember them days for the doge you had to kick in? Remember all them times when you got caught and they never snitched? When you made them racks and the same people that you eating with, nobody pulling triggers, but this the heat I'll kill noise with. Paying everyone back who had my back since the age of 10. Spiking my opponents while dunking them all like my name was Tim. Made it out the struggle and now I'm flexing like muscles. I'm trying to stay out of trouble so I won't have to hustle.
Thank you.
Once inside the palace of cages, you were given an invisible brand of badness, which might last the rest of your life. Many things were forbidden to you. Other humans were trained to treat you as if you had chosen the brand of badness on purpose. Once released, you were expected to survive as if the cage had produced no trauma, as if other humans had not been trained to turn their backs on you and your brand, or prevent you from being able to eat, or from living next to them. You, or even sometimes members of your family. The supposed doer of badness being isolated and punished inside the cage was not the only one being isolated and punished. parents and children and brothers and sisters might come to feel that the palace of cages was ruling over their lives as well.
Pass these around, take your card.
Archaeology team studying these artifacts from the future, but they assigned me this one, I guess, because no one else wanted it for some reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it really hard and see if I can figure out what it's saying. Well, I can't make head or tail of it, but my eyeball that's next to it is getting the feeling that it involves a lot of doubt and disbelief. So I have this hypothesis that maybe if I put this orange dunce cap on my head, and I fasten it on my head with this ultraviolet colored bungee cord, that maybe it will help me. Aha! Yeah. Aha! It's much clearer now. Okay, so here's what this person was trying to say. Dear y'all, by y'all I mean y'all fellow creatures who are asking me to keep participating in this annual gathering to detoxify the toxins from the place where the trees grow, where the palace cages things y'all say once used to be. I just want to point out to you that this doesn't make any sense. Y'all do realize that this doesn't make any sense. I mean, the cages wouldn't make any sense, right? Like, people would never have actually done this to other people, like put other people inside of a box that locked from the outside but didn't unlock from the inside. That just would be like really scary and really unsafe and wouldn't make any sense. So there's no reason that anybody would have done that. So y'all, telling me this happened, it just, it doesn't make any sense because, I mean, well, first of all, think about it. If you were in a box like that you couldn't get out of because it didn't unlock from the inside, you'd be mad about it. You'd be trying to get out, right? So to hold you in there, a lot of wealth and energy would have to go into this box. Like, the whole society would have had to put like lots of wealth and energy into making this box really strong to keep you in, and that would be like, it's such a waste of energy. There's no way they would ever deploy that much wealth and energy into doing that, and then they'd have to have people constantly guarding and rebuilding the box to keep you from getting out of it, which would be like a whole another waste of people's time to do that to you. So like it wouldn't make any sense back then, just as it wouldn't make any sense now. And also you realize that none of the problems that you say this ancient society back in the 21st century supposedly built these cages to solve, none of them would have been solved by actually building those cages, right? They would have all been made worse. Like this bad. Well, that's the other thing. Like, you say this was an attempt to fight badness, right? So but if you're calling people bad, you're saying that the adults were doing this to kids, calling kids bad and like criminally bad. Yet in your own story, you admit that the badness was forever. And when they put them in the box and they got out of the box, they would still call them bad, which was what would happen if you really did that to somebody. But the whole thing just gets more and more like ridiculous. And so if you're saying this really happened, right? How can you believe that our own ancestors were that stupid? Like, if our own ancestors could not have been that dumb, because we wouldn't have survived, right? We would have gone extinct. Like, we wouldn't be here today if our own ancestors had been so dumb that was the way they thought that problems could be solved, right? And But okay, let's say, for the benefit of the doubt, let's say that there really were people back then who, like, were behaving in some dangerous way, that the rest of the people were frightened and scared by it, and they thought they had to do something about it, right? Well, how would they stop behaving in a bad way, in this way you call bad, by calling it bad and sticking them in a box? Like, see, that wouldn't happen. That would, like, whatever they were doing that you didn't like, that would make them do more of it. It wouldn't give them the chance to do anything different if you didn't like that. So, like, that's another reason it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, and you know, so the narrative contradicts itself. So what I'm saying, guys, is just like, it's okay to tell this horror story, right? To scare people, you know, as a folk tale, right? But quit saying it was real, okay? Quit saying it was real, because you're making it too scary when you say it was real. You're like, you're actually convincing people that this kind of terrible thing is really possible to happen, and like really did happen at some point. Like, people were actually locked up in a box that didn't unlock from the inside, and the adults did this to kids, and it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't believe it.
In their world of competition and owning, everyone say owning, they lived in constant fear of each other. They spent more of their invisible currency on weapons and walls and guards and surveillance than anything else in their world. They gave great power to weaponed protectors, not just danger, but even the fear of unpleasant interaction with each other might cause these humans to call their weaponed protectors. They responded to their weapon protectors with simulations, scorn, annoyance, compliance, and religious devotion. They believed that putting humans in cages was absolutely necessary to maintain their home and peace for what they called security. Everyone say security.
Security.
By which they meant their safety from each other.
Go ahead, Rob.
They entertained themselves with stories meant to create more fear of each other. In these stories, their weaponed protectors possessed supernatural, beyond human powers to protect ordinary humans from supernatural imaginary beings, of supernatural imaginary badness. They used these stories to reinforce their devotion to their need for weaponed protectors.
Back in the 21st century, the supposed condition of what they called blankness, also known as whiteness, was much sought after since it conferred special advantages, benefits, and freedoms. Still, this condition of blankness, or whiteness, made those who had it feel quite fragile and fearful of those who did not have it.
A voice from the present. Yet again, on the bus, looking for a seat. White girl sees you moving forward, fear oozing from her eyes, moves her purse, then clenches. Yet again. Walking down the street, passing a white woman with her dog. You look up. Before you can even smile, you see the overextended mouth with fear of how to relate, oozing from her face.
Yet again.
Yet again. A voice from the future. In this time of fear, in this time of loss, I call on you who provided your shoulders. Release the toxins, bind the pain. Let the power redirect so we may be free.
Do the last line again.
Let the power redirect so we may be free.
7 volunteers who are willing to say a few words apiece.
What we have here is an artifact from the 21st century. This is a random day, selections from a random day on the internet service Nextdoor, East Wallingford.
Missing cat.
Reduce crime.
House cleaning needed.
Install security cameras.
Got it.
Guitar teacher. Suspicious activity. House sitter. File police report.
3 cabinets.
Not enough police.
Call the police.
Thank you, weapon protectors. Okay, some people were not saying it. Here's another letter from the future.
They perceived other humans as separate objects. All their relations were therefore defined as transactions,
Let's say that. Transactions. Very good.
which meant get more than you give.
Get more than you give.
It reached the point where they greeted each other by swiping,
Swiping.
which meant to steal from each other or to move past each other very quickly.
Okay, this is one of those moments where we're gonna enact what they would do to try to imagine the way we greeted each other. They felt that we moved past each other very quickly. Take your cards. Oh, I lost my card. We warned you, take your cards. We will greet each other the way they imagined that we would greet each other, by swiping. Turn to a neighbor and swipe. 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 You can also do it horizontally. Swipe. 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 Hey, swipe. 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 Hey, swipe. 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 Hey, swipe you doing? Okay. Swipe you later. All right. All right, more from the letter of the future.
Their fear and separation from each other was easily harvested by a small number to maintain their own power and control. Their fear and separation from each other apparently made it possible for them to consider some humans as disposable.
Why they called the 21st century? Because humans brought disaster on themselves and others, and many, many things were lost. But some things we do know because we are still here. And we are still here because some, even them, among humans, resisted those atrocities for their own survival. Some voices from the present.
Gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when the prisons where they land. We gotta change the frame, hold accountable our fam. So it's not Uncle Sam, it's Harbor Man. We gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where we land. We gotta make a change, accountable our fam. So it's not Harbor Man. We're living in the reality that we cannot escape. Ignore responsibility till our communities break. Juvenile facilities cause most prefer oppression and hate over empathy or accountability. It's not our problem, that's what most say. Cause the privileged are abolish today. Cannot carry the weight, lest their mind breaks. We'll follow the lead as they talk of police. Though it's our youth that are jailed or deceased. Insurrection, if you didn't know, is abuse. I'm fucking up this own song, so I'm gonna flow to you. Flow to you. Gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where they land. We gotta make a change. Fucking this up, y'all. Sorry. Gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where we land. We gotta change the frame, hold accountable our fam. It's not Uncle Sam, it's Harbor Man. We gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where we land. We gotta change the frame, hold accountable our fam. So it's not Uncle Sam, it's Harbor Man. Fascist cruelty integral to defend the system too. Who knew? Well, we did, but most just sat by and didn't say shit. Cause most lazy and don't wanna see it. Lest they will push us to action while we plead then for some traction. Cause disaster was happening, urban fracking as they mine the black assets. Or poor bastards behind them locks. Cause you wanted to call the cops when we should have kept it in the house. Or you ignore no words coming out your mouth. Both actions speak loud as fuck. That way we never gave a fuck. But you're here, yeah, good luck. Step. We gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where we land. We gotta change the frame, hold accountable our fam. So it's not Uncle Sam, it's Harbor Man. We gotta make a change, take it into our hands. It'll be the same when prisons where we land. We gotta change the frame, hold accountable our fam. So it's not Uncle Sam, it's Harbor Man. Alright, I want to drop one acapella for y'all now quick. So I was a little rusty, working a lot this week, but I got some shit for you off top of my dome real quick. Yeah, I'm done with it. Or actually, let that play. Let that play. Okay, so I'm going to freestyle some shit for y'all real quick, because I feel like that wasn't up to par. I've been working a lot this week, so.
You're here.
Yeah. Alright. So I'll use this beat. Turn it up a little bit. Just be on the sides. If we don't take a stand, we're gonna be ran by these motherfucking fascists that wanna give us lashes, but they never really care, cause they wanna cage our kids. They don't give a fuck, yeah, they don't give a shit, cause they got the Glocks and the army too, cause they will do you wrong. They don't give a fuck, cause they are the hawks, yes, the pigs, cause they got the guns and they got the whip. Cause they don't really start to understand shit. Cause they wanna make $1, keep us collared every second. But I'm quitting cause I gotta tell you it's not no blessing. We stand up, we rise, that's the only way we getting free. Cause I gotta say, we gotta bring the system to its knees. Cause it will not give us a chance lest we take a stand. Cause they wanna keep us safe, cause they wanna keep us in these cages. So we gotta turn the fucking pages. Stand up or we're gonna be the same shit all day. Cause they don't give a fuck, that's why they got them AKs every day. Cause they wanna play the game, they wanna make us all feel safe. So they wanna keep us in that same fucking spot. From the town to the Cali, cause you know it's a lot of profits off them dollars from them cages. Cause they got you collared if they wanna get you on that probation. Now you're paying to be maintained in a slave system. Now they don't ever really wanna listen. When you tell you why you committed that crime, cause you really trying to fucking survive. But they wanna see you caught up and they telling so many lies. Keep you in that cage, make your prosecution go. Cause they wanna make $1 off that slave labor, bro. What you think it is when they wanna kill our kids? Cause they shoot us in the streets on the perfect shit. It's not accident, they wanna do it to keep us in line. Cause if we rise, we will find our own fucking time, huh? See it when it's going, cause we showing that we standing. Cause we not gonna follow for Uncle Sam shit. And I don't understand why we follow their minds, unless we got a hollow mind, not taking the time. See the signs cause we come. How y'all feeling? I wanna try something real quick. Say after me. Stand up. Stand up. Tell that you be down. Tell that you be down. Tell that you be down. To the motherfucking crowd. To the fucking ground. Right now, right now. Right now, right now. Right now. Thinking about the times, I'm thinking about the stress to all the people that we lost and all the families they the rest. See, it's a test. If I'm looking to the skies and the birds, and I'm hoping that you listen to these knowledge written words at the mouth of the king. Because everybody knows that we were shackled up in chains from our heads to our toes, shipped all over the seas and fed to the sharks. Discrimination of our skin because we was dark. Now what type of shit is that? Deep down in the attack, apparitions on that track because we was black. A lot of torn feelings, blood, sweat, and tears, and we went through all of this for over 400 years. But you know, a fallen shadow ain't always what it seems. Because back in Africa, we was able kings and queens, men and women draped in gold, ladies treated with respect, and fathers raised a young fetus so they didn't know neglect. Mr. Little Big Man, brain taller than the trees, and that president we got now need to be impeached. If you want to learn knowledge and you gotta lose thrill, then that 9/11 stories on the $20 bill. Flip the face side of it and angle it the same. If you do it right, the twin tower shape in a plane. One side say United, other side say American. Instead of just an accident, homeboy, I'm daring them, but both towers burning, I can't stay calm. I flip the bill over, fire coming out the Pentagon. Put my thinking cap on, me the lion, I'm not trying it. That's just coincidence? No, I'm not buying it. To sum it all up, you know what else funny? What's 9 plus 11, Aurelio?
Yeah, it equals 20.
I got a whole lot of questions, still searching for the answers. They can have the Triple K, but we can have the Black Panthers.
What?
They say, speak to them all with political rage. So I speak to them all with political pain. You don't have time to learn, then you got it all wrong. And I was just the intermission. Now back to the song. Red carpet pyramid, black gold tombstone, whether you like it or not. Yeah, Africa's your real home, and I can see the light. I'm so proud to be black. I don't need no gap. I use my mind as a strap. They say together we stand, but divided we fall. And every time they see a crime, you know they're laughing at y'all. What is a racial behind? And we the leaders of time. We need to stop all the violence to rehabilitate our mind. Come together as one and spread our wings to unite. Put our hand in the books and make that black nation tight. Cause I'm gonna put it down for surely when I represent my people, letting everybody know that we was all created equal. See, the color don't make the man, but the man creates the hate. So if you feel me, we didn't ask to be brought to the state. Now to the queens in the house.
Where the queens at?
I'm giving up props, cause if it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be standing on this spot. You see, the woman is the holder of the old and the new. 9 months of that pain, and their creation is through. So queen, for each and every day, you gotta struggle and strive, girl, you got nothing to fear. Cause I'ma be by your side. Yes, I'm a strong black man, and I know where I'm headed. And queen, I promise they gon' pay for all the blood that was shedded. But girl, until then, I'm still searching for the facts. Apparitions on the track, and I'm so proud to be black.
Let's give it up to RJ3 right here, you know what I'm saying? Alright, I have this track that I worked on. I haven't released it yet. It's dedicated to my ancestors also. You know, both the indigenous side and the European descent. Blood of the Spanish, indigenous skin, bones made of iron, a soul filled with sin. Come hear my story, from beginning no end. Use my passion as ink, words written in pen. People asking why I speak about revolution, cause I'm tired of seeing my homies out there shooting. Tired of having the rich on top, overlooking on us poor folk. Body aching, no hope, don't matter pro this or that. Yo, they provoke a brother being choked, falling down negative slope. Hung from a rope, cause we cannot cope. Anyone gonna ask what we want the most, the US will never be us. That's why we gotta discuss about the bullshit that will erupt. Hey yo, I'm down to bust. Uncle Sam, I can't trust. Hey yo, I think I had enough. Hey yo, but hold up. I'm not done kicking knowledge real quick, alright? Blood of the Spanish, heart of a king. Blood of the Spanish, heart of a king. Okay. Blood of the Spanish, heart of a king. Pay attention what I have with the knowledge I bring. My culture, our legacy, shine like neon. Study my words, immortalized for eons. I'm not Mexican, I'm Mexica, half American, nice to meet you. Hear me around the block like who heard speakers. The Chichimeca people got rid of evil. Some of us betrayed each other, each brother, malinchismo, cualquiera hijo, no me importa el vestido, todos somos el mismo, el único artista, revolución zapatista. I know I found my location on earth, like my ancestors finding birds eaten by birds. Oh wait, no, serpents eaten by birds, and yes, it's absurd, but this really occurred. Much love to my parents for the history I learned. Thank you very much, y'all. Hold on.
Instagram writing system that evolved from emojis. Although after seeing Keanu's performance earlier, I'm thinking it could also be a dance map, like a map of how people move their bodies in the future to express emotions. It's really hard to figure out what these mean without context, but when I look at this top one up here, I see like a swollen heart and wide open eyes. It makes me think that it's expressing wonder, maybe with a trace of longing. And this one here looks like it's expressing a layer of meaning that's buried inside of the earth. It might also mean invisibility. And this one looks like it's stories growing up from the earth, or seeds growing out of the graves of ancestors to create new life. And then this one down here makes me think of communion, the joy that comes from taking care of each other and keeping each other safe. So putting all that together, my guess is that what these characters are trying to express to us is that people in the future are wishing they could actually encounter the stories from our time. They're wishing they could encounter stories of how we, their ancestors, kept each other safe and took care of each other against all odds. And maybe they're looking for seeds of their own society within the rubble of our daily lives. They might not have access to our stories because we never recorded them. There are things we do every day that are invisible artifacts. Our actions create the future, but they don't necessarily get recorded in the future history books. So with that, I'm going to pass it to my coworker, Ramon.
He told me the police were going to take them to the King County Juvenile Detention Center. So quickly, I knew we had to do something. I knew that I could not trust the police with our students. The police in these times treat working people and people of color like trash. One hears stories of people getting murdered just for talking back or reaching into their pockets to show some ID. This alone made me ashamed of the fact that I live in a country that neglects the basic needs of young people, like nutritious food, and instead spends millions on wars, police, and prisons. I rallied up my coworkers and our director. We walked down to the subway to find out what actually happened. Given the police and their great record on human rights, I knew our students needed some backup. On our way to the subway, we got followed by a police car. The officer drove by slowly, following us like some creepy chaperone at a school dance. I guess 4 unarmed men of color shouldn't walk around the neighborhood during the daytime. I don't think it's safe. When we arrived, we saw our students detained by 4 officers. The officers stood there, ferociously grilling our students. When we entered, one officer asked us to identify ourselves. We identified ourselves and let her know that she was detaining one of our students and we wanted them released. The officer became aggravated by our demands. However, after a couple of heated exchanges and some well-calculated negotiations, we were able to get our students released. An air of relief hit my chest that day. I was happy that the prison system would have 2 less souls to devour.
So that was one small example of how people at our school, youth and faculty try to keep each other safe without calling police. It happens often, and other people across the city are doing this often too. And many of you here probably also have experienced things like that, right? Where you've resolved a conflict without calling the police. But often these everyday stories aren't recorded. They're not put in the history books. They're not in the media. So I asked some of our students why they think that is, and they said that these events are so ordinary, they're seen as unremarkable. People try to build community like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in any case, it's seen as a personal problem. It's not seen as something that's to go in the public record or be recorded in history. And in some cases, of course, it's not safe to share these stories publicly because that building still exists. Can everybody see this? So right here, we have a bundle of stories that youth wrote this week about conflicts they've resolved without calling the police. times that they've took care of each other without calling the police. And for the reasons we said, we can't share these stories right now, but instead what we're going to do is we put them in this seed pod, and we're going to bury this somewhere in the city. And we're going to hope that it can grow up into something that our future ancestors can read. We don't know if they'll be able to recompose these stories for sure, and if they can, we're not sure how. But even if these texts are lost forever, we know that the actions that they speak of are invisible artifacts that will help shape the future that's made contact with us today. Thank you.
So as we make our way to our last section, some questions that I want you to be thinking about. What are your invisible artifacts? What are your small or big ways of bringing the future into being? What would you like them to be?
We have some evidence that in our future, but in the future's past, okay, our future a little ways, but the future's past, they have some evidence in the future that in their past, a whole community, maybe on this very spot, we don't know, a whole community in their past, but our future, decided some things brought or will bring more harm than help. So this is a short letter from the future, maybe from the future's past, that is meant to be said together. So you have one line, harm. Say that. Harm. Okay. Weaponed protector. Harm. Cage palace. Harm. Far away deciders. Harm. So apparently this community in our future but their past, maybe on this very spot in the Central District of Seattle, decided to withdraw from weapon protectors and cage palaces, and even maybe withdraw from those faraway deciders that controlled so much of their lives, and instead chose to make their own decisions and deal with their own conflicts and their own troubles themselves. We have very few artifacts from this community, but we do have one artifact, which is a text which apparently, just like that short one, at the gathering in the future, they would say aloud together, remembering that community in their past but our future. Now, in this, you have one line, come home. Say that. Come home. And in a number of the things that Camilla is going to read, we have translated our, as near as we can tell, in our future but their past. Our doesn't mean something that we own, but it means something from us, coming from us.
Our food, come home. Our water, come home. Our dirt, come home. Our light, come home. Our energy, come home. Our picture of home, come home. Our picture of ourselves, come home. Our trouble, come home. Our harm, come home. Our danger, come home. Our solutions, come home. Our decisions, come home. Our mother, come home. Our father, come home. Our siblings, come home. Our children, come home. Our children, come home. Our children, come home.
This is a letter from the future. We don't know if they survived or not. Communities that withdrew to make their own decisions and solve their own problems were met with trouble.
from faraway deciders and others who didn't want communities to make their own decisions. So all we have are some shards and artifacts. However, this happened not just in this one spot, but many, many other places, even at the same time, even unknown to one another. And because of them, and all those who resisted for their own survival, and for ours, those people in the future, for ours, we are still here today, and the Palace of Cages is not. And one last tiny message together. Repeat after me, if you will. From us, future. For you. In the gathering in the future on this site, with the healing forest that we've tried to reproduce and is getting well watered, so should be really growing. They apparently do or will take up those stones and let each stone come to be one of those who suffered, so they can remember and imagine and give their wishes back in time to those who are suffering today. Their instructions seem to say that if you say your wish for them to yourself within the breath space of a tree, it will be heard.
So take out your stones now. If you don't have one, there's a stone person, Linda in the red. Raise your hand and she'll give you one. And let each stone be one of those who are suffering. And hold it in front of you. The windows that we will soon pass as we walk around the rest of the juvie, they're frosted. So we can't see in very well, and they can't see out very well. At other times, some of us have gathered in front to make noise so those can hear us and know that we remember them. And some of us will do that again. Today, instead, we'll do what they do in the future. Hold those inside close to us and silently give them our wishes. So we're going to do that.